Hi, my name is Wendy Myers. I'm a health and nutrition coach. I want to talk to you a little bit about today about what kind of water should you drink. I get asked this constantly in my practice because it's a very confusing question. I mean, even myself, when I was trying to figure out the best water filter to buy, I had to research it for months. I couldn't believe how confusing this subject was. So after spending months and months researching, I want to, impart some of my knowledge to you to tell you what's the best water to drink. So basically, there's many different types of water, but I think the best water to drink is just plain spring water. It's filtered by the earth in many ways that we don't understand, and it contains 30 to 40 trace minerals that we absolutely need, and it also is almost like a whole food. It hasn't been altered in any way. There's a lot of research out now that the structure of water it's very important for it to remain intact because it gets into our cells when it's intact. There's also many different water systems that make the water molecules smaller. We're not really sure if that really is helpful at all. I think it's just best to get it how nature intended from the earth. It's just been naturally filtered, and that's just how cavemen and our ancestral counterparts have just been drinking water for a millennia. So I think we should just follow in their footsteps. I made a big mistake when I purchased my water filter. I thought I had done all my research and found that reverse osmosis water would create the purest water, 99.99% pure, free of contaminants. However, because the molecular structure is altered by it being forced to this membrane, it alters the nature of the water and it doesn't hydrate you as well. And I realized this firsthand when I purchased my water filter and I got all excited. I'm going to have all this healthy water, yay! And so I literally was drinking 10 glasses of water a day and I was still thirsty at the end of the day. And I just was like, what is going on? I just kept drinking and drinking and drinking. And I was still thirsty. The only thing I drink is water. So I know when something's amiss. So, in doing some more research on the internet, I discovered that reverse osmosis doesn't hydrate you as well. So you need to be very careful. The best filtration process that you want to use is carbon block, not the carbon granules, because there's more surface area in the carbon block. So that is going to just be more beneficial in filtering. It doesn't change the nature of the molecular structure of the water. So that's why it's the best. However, it doesn't get out a significant number of chemicals that are in water, in tap water, which is what people are typically filtering. So I'm going to go over some of on my blog, I've got a whole list of the different ways of filtration methods, but like I said, I think carbon's the best. You can't filter everything out of it, so it's just best just to drink spring water. It does get very expensive, but you can find a spring locally called findaspring.com. There's also other places you can ask people locally, local people in your town, where do they get their water from? If there's a spring around, just go there with your jugs and fill it up. They're building a database also on elixircraft.com. It's AXILIR craft, craft.com. And there they're building a larger list of local springs where you can go and get water straight out of the earth for free. So let me go into some of the different waters that you encounter on the market. One of them is artesian water, and that's a water kind of like Fiji, where rather than the spring just be flowing from the ground, usually they're just like just seeping from a creek or just out of the ground. This is actually where someone dug beneath layers of rock to access a spring that's underneath the water, or I'm sorry, that's underneath this layers of rocks and whatnot. And so they have to label it artesian water to let people know that it's not from a naturally occurring spring. One of the next one is reverse osmosis, like I mentioned before. That's where the water is forced through a membrane, and it's also very wasteful because it can take up to 20 gallons of water to produce 1 gallon of reverse osmosis water. I have a reverse osmosis filter. Unfortunately, I don't drink from it, but I do wash my vegetables with it. I do cook with it, and I do, we'll make teas or whatever from it, but I don't drink it from on a regular basis because of the problems with the molecular structure. But you can, like I said, the reverse osmosis is very good. It does get the most of the contaminants out, but it does have these other problems. The next water is alkaline water. That's a big one. People are going crazy for alkaline water and spending thousands of dollars on Kangen filters or Kangen filters and things like that. However, I don't recommend alkaline water so much unless you have some sort of a metabolic problem where you have problems getting rid of acids out of your body. Um, I'm getting to think it's more of a marketing ploy to sell water. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of study behind it, but conceivably the theory sounds good. If you have an acidic body and you drink alkaline water, you can more quickly get your body into alkaline state. But the inherent problems in it are that the alkaline water is considered to be a kind of an antioxidant. And the problem is once the alkaline water is created, whatever method that you use, the antioxidant value of it disappears in 1 to 2 hours. Additionally, some of the alkaline benefits of it disappear after 1 to 2 weeks. So drinking alkaline water doesn't really, or buying alkaline water in a bottle doesn't make a whole lot of sense because usually by the time you get it and you're drinking it, all of the alkaline benefits of it have already disappeared. So forget alkaline water unless you have your own system and go nuts with it if you want. But again, I think there's going to be some inherent problems in the alkaline filter. In it changing the molecular structure of it and not making it a whole pure food anymore. Additionally, there's other problems with it, but just read my blog to get the full story. The next one is tap water. Don't drink tap water. It's full of hundreds, if not thousands, of chemicals. Namely, it's full of chlorine to get rid of bacteria. It's full of fluoride. Unfortunately, there's the majority of municipal water supplies put fluoride in their water. They're obviously paid by companies to do this because there's no benefit whatsoever. And fluoride is actually very toxic. It's carcinogenic, and it's known to cause osteoporosis. It leaches minerals from your bones. It causes cancer. There are just hundreds of diseases and illness that fluoride ingestion causes. So, and it's an industrial waste product. You know where they get fluoride? They scrape it off the sides of smokestacks. It's totally disgusting, and they put that in your toothpaste and in your water, conceivably to prevent cavities. But studies have also shown that fluoride actually does not prevent cavities. It actually can cause them. Not only that, but it can also cause fluoridisis, where it stains your teeth. Have you ever seen people with little stains and yellow or white marks on their teeth? That is from fluoride. Additionally, in tap water, there are hundreds of industrial chemicals, but there's also something you may not be aware of, medicines. People are dumping their old medications into the water, and they are also urinating out their antidepressants and their heart medications and all these other lovely medications to make this wonderful concoction in your tap water. And the governments, while they do have certain requirements to test and to reduce the levels of certain contaminants that are in the water, the government is not observing in any way medications in your water. So you have to watch out for yourself because the government isn't. Also, you'll see drinking water. You'll see the words drinking water on your bottle. That doesn't mean anything. All that means is that you're drinking tap water. That's all that means. So don't pay for anything that says drinking water, like Kirkland brand drinking water. Don't bother with that. Another water is distilled water. Distilled water is totally pure. It's steamed and condensed and then filtered in that method to get rid of all the contaminants, but it also gets rid of all the minerals. So there's no minerals in the water. So this makes the water very, very hungry. So when you drink the water, examples include sparklets. When you drink this water, it chelates minerals, but it also chelates heavy metals out of your body as well, because heavy metals and minerals will occupy the same space and some of the same functions in your body. So distilled water can be great if you just only drink it for 2 or 3 months to chelate heavy metals out of your body. But after that, stop and go to spring water, because if you continue to drink distilled water on a continuous basis, it can deplete all your vital minerals, and that obviously is not good for your health. Now, one of the next things is mineral water. Mineral water is great. It's legally required when it comes out of the ground to have 250 million parts per billion, something like that. A large amount of minerals, just naturally occurring. They can't add any more minerals to it. The same goes for sparkling mineral water. One of the next things is well water. Well water can be great, but I definitely recommend you test your well water before drinking it, because a lot of testing companies, even if you do get it tested, they're not testing for iron or manganese toxicity. And manganese toxicity can be really, really nasty. So you want to make sure you do another test for manganese, because this is a very common contaminant, industrial contaminant in well water. But just play it safe and just filter the water. If a lot of people use their well water just for drinking or to provide water for their entire home, which is fantastic. It's much better than tap water, but just play it safe and get it checked out. Um, Another big thing that people are drinking is, just bottled water. If you're wondering specifically if your bottled water is healthy, check out Environmental Working Group's Bottled Water Scorecard. That's on EWG.com, and they rate 173 different waters and give it a grade, A, B, C, D, E, and F. Fortunately, most of the waters are C and under, but definitely go on there and check out and see if your water is making the grade. One of the next waters that's very popular is functional water. You'll see that in like 0-calorie water. There's vitamin water and other things like that. Avoid those completely. Many of them, they're colored. As you can see, they've got artificial food coloring, which is made from coal tar and is contaminated with heavy metals. It's made from petroleum. I don't want that in my water, thank you. They also contain artificial flavorings, which are toxic. They contain high fructose corn syrup, many of them, which you don't want to be eating. That also contains heavy metals and genetically modified corn. They're just full of garbage. Just avoid them. Just drink real, actual water. If you have a problem, a lot of people are drinking. A lot of times people are drinking this because they don't like the taste of water, and part of it, I was the same way. I used to only drink sodas and tea, and I kind of made my transition to only drinking water by putting some lemon or lime or orange, a little squeeze of those in the water, and even putting some stevia in the water. And that will ease my transition, or ease your transition. Eventually, I didn't need those additives to it anymore. Now I just love water. I just love drinking and just hydrating myself and being healthy. It's just best just to only drink water, or at least make that your goal. Um, uh, like I said, I talked a little bit about water filtration. Like I said, carbon is the best. But do your research. You can do wonderful research on EWG.com. They've got a whole list of all kinds of different ways you can filter your water. I also really like APS.com. There you can actually call a technician and speak to someone about the best way to test your water and figure out what kind of filtration system you need. But definitely give a thought to a carbon filter, because that's the best and leaves the water in a whole, natural, pure state, doesn't alter it in any way, and that's the best for you. So thanks for listening, and you can read the rest of my blog at live to 100.com.